When he first arrived from Chelsea last summer, Kai Havertz was widely dubbed one of the worst signings of the transfer window. Outside of scoring the winning goal in the Champions League final, his time in West London was largely unsuccessful. You could say it gave him the blues. Okay, I'll stop now. It didn't help that he cost Arsenal approximately £62 million, with a further £3 million in add-ons, as well as the highest salary at the club. To put it mildly, the signing of Havertz was controversial. For much of the season, Mikel Arteta has deployed Havertz at the left 8 position. At first, many fans took this to mean that he would function as a one-for-one replacement of Granit Xhaka. There's just one problem with that. Havertz isn't anything like the passer that Xhaka is. Not even close. In fact, Havertz's inclusion in Arsenal's build-up ended up putting more pressure to progress the ball on Gabriel, Alexander Zinchenko, and Declan Rice as well, and it contributed to the isolation out on the left flank that Gabriel Martinelli has experienced throughout this campaign. So what exactly is Havertz supposed to be? Well, I and many others believe that Havertz is supposed to function in this Arsenal team as a Raumdeuter. For those who don't know what that is, allow me to briefly explain. Raumdeuter is a term coined by Thomas Müller, who is the poster child for this profile of player. In German, it roughly translates to space interpreter. Without getting stuck in the weeds, Raumdeuters are typically free-floating attacking players whose superpower is finding and exploiting space in the final third. They're not particularly keen defenders, nor are they amazing dribblers, freakish athletes, or awe-inspiring ball strikers. But they are immensely intelligent and astute players who can read the game well enough to almost always be a few steps ahead and end up in the right place at the right time. Elite anticipation, intelligent movement, tremendous spatial awareness, those are the gifts of a Raumdeuter. Sound familiar? Havertz possesses almost all of the traits of a Raumdeuter. While not a particularly eye-catching player, he's an immensely astute and intelligent footballer out of possession. He can exploit space, making runs off the ball to either occupy defenders and open things up for teammates, or to arrive himself at the right place at the right time. On top of that, he has some unorthodox abilities for a Raumdeuter as well. Havertz belies surprising pace, which makes him good at running the channels, and he is a dual monster, winning a high number of aerials compared to both midfielders and forwards. With all that being said, there are still the issues that I mentioned earlier with playing Havertz at left 8. Essentially, it all comes down to balance. Yes, Havertz's qualities are extremely useful, but when relied upon in the middle of the pitch, where build-up and progressive play are critical, he's much harder to accommodate. Like I said before, his presence there puts more burden on the left side of the field in those aspects. That, in turn, in my opinion, makes it much harder for Arsenal to play at their best. But recently, Havertz has been asked to play at center forward, with Gabriel Jesus dealing with injury and Leandro Trossard not being a one-size-fits-all option at the position. And there, his Raumdeuter qualities have really shown through. Havertz's abilities make him particularly dangerous when playing as a false 9 for Arteta's side. So dangerous, in fact, that I think Havertz is Arsenal's best option at center forward for the remainder of the season. A lot of people watching this might think, but what about Gabriel Jesus? And I understand that sentiment. Last season, Jesus arrived from Manchester City and was the main catalyst for Arsenal's attack going up a level. His industry, technical quality, and his ability to play across the front line made Arsenal more fluid, better at pressing, and generally more dangerous. But with that being said, please join me at the hard truth cam for a second. I'm just going to come right out and say it. That Gabriel Jesus that we saw in the first half of last season probably isn't coming back. He doesn't do those mazy runs that scare defenders anymore, he bounces off center backs more than he used to, and his overall level of dynamism has dropped. That knee injury that he sustained at the 2022 World Cup has had a real impact on him. Not only has it hindered him on the pitch, but it's made it harder for him to even get on it. At this point in the season, Jesus has only managed 1,527 minutes of game time in all competitions. That's not a lot. He's still an above average forward, but he's not the level raiser he once was, and he isn't a reliable starting forward over the course of a season. As for Leandro Trossard, I think he's a good option at center forward who replicates a lot of what Jesus does well. He can keep possession of the ball in the final third very reliably, he's great at link-up play, and he's also capable of switching out to either flank. He's also quick enough to get away from opposing defenders and is an impressive finisher too, definitely a better one than either Jesus or Havertz. But Havertz, I think, can provide more at the 9 position currently than either Jesus or Trossard. The most obvious advantage the German has over his teammates is his height. Standing at 6'4", Havertz is able to use his height and frame as a secret weapon that neither Jesus nor Trossard are capable of wielding. His physical presence combines with his Raumdeuter qualities to make him Arsenal's most dangerous option at center forward currently. To put it simply, Havertz excels as a false 9 partly because of his reliability as an outlet. The German's dual-winning proficiency and his talent for bringing down and controlling aerial balls means that players like Raya, Saliba, and Gabriel can go long to him without fear. Havertz in turn is capable enough in link-up play, although perhaps not that inventive, to involve the likes of Saka, Odegaard, and Martinelli in the final third before using his excellent movement to arrive at the place in time for him to do damage at the end of moves, including at the back post on the end of a half-space cross, something that Saka is already very comfortable facilitating. But Havertz also attracts attention from opposing center backs due to these qualities, even when he drops deep to help in build-up. That in turn opens things up for his teammates, particularly the wide forwards. And considering Saka and Martinelli spend so much time double and triple teamed, that's probably much appreciated. It's also helpful that the German possesses no angle bias, meaning he's comfortable facilitating on either side of the pitch, promoting balance in Arsenal's attack. And while Havertz occupies these defenders, he also makes them uncomfortable due to his surprising physicality, as well as his ability to make runs in behind and win foot races. Oh, and this isn't just something that he's been doing against weaker teams in the division such as Sheffield United and Brentford. Among his highlights at center forward are a game-winning assist against City, a pivotal performance against Liverpool in which he played a key role in the first goal and got Ibrahim Konate sent off, and a goal and assist against Newcastle. The results so far have been quite successful. According to this chart from Crab Stats, Havertz is among the best forwards in possession-adjusted defensive actions and is also better than the vast majority at possession-adjusted interceptions. Did I mention he's also an effective presser? He ranks similarly in deep touches and XG buildup. But his attacking stats might be what shocks you here. Havertz ranks very highly in deep completions, goal probability added, open play expected assists, open play key passes, and shots, and he's among the very top players when it comes to XG per shot and non-penalty XG. Believe it or not, Havertz is a pretty dangerous tip of the spear. In 435 minutes at center forward for Arsenal so far, Havertz sports 3 goals and 3 assists. While that is admittedly a small sample size, that's currently a better ratio of minutes to goal contributions than Jesus and Trossard have. And based on his goal against Sheffield United, his finishing might be improving. At the time of recording, Havertz has scored in his last 4 league appearances. For those reasons, Kai Havertz needs to be treated as Arsenal's best option at center forward for the remainder of the season. And while he might not be the striker to lead Arsenal into the future, he might just be the 9 to lead Arteta's men to a major trophy this season.